Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Leader of Opposition, Members of Parliament, people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity to make a ministerial statement on the National Sustainable Tourism Framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, the National Sustainable Tourism Framework is a proposed 10-year strategy led by the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation. What it essentially intends to do is develop a shared vision for the Fiji tourism sector over the next decade. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the coalition government maintains, we believe in regional prosperity. Recently, Pacific tourism leaders collectively committed to an ambition of a regional tourism sector that supports the well-being of Pacific peoples, our cultures, and our island and ocean resources. Drawing inspiration from the Pacific and adapting global best practices to the Fiji context, Fiji is embracing principles that reinforce shared Pacific values to preserve the future Pacific destinations for future generations of a blue Pacific. Tourism, of course, plays a central role to this prosperity. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are taking a two-phase approach to the development of Fiji's sustainable tourism framework. As I shared earlier in this House, a private sector-led steering committee is closely overseeing and contributing to the development of the framework because we don't want this to be just a government vision. The committee consists of key partners such as the Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association, Fiji Airways, Tourism Fiji, Gavoka Sustainable Collective, Society of Fiji Travel Associates, Sabu Sabu and Sun Coast Tourism Associations, as well as key development partners. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a part of the first phase, over the next 12 months, the Ministry, with the support of the International Finance Corporation, held a series of public-private dialogues with over 600 people. This was mostly delivered virtually to include stakeholders outside Suva. We covered topics such as private sector sustainability and greening, respectful and equitable workplaces, tourism as a preferred employer, financial solutions for micro, small and medium enterprises, public infrastructure, sectoral linkages, product and experience development, growth of Airbnb, cruise market, and tourism entrepreneurship. We have held focus group discussions with key government agencies on the visitor economy, conservation tourism, agri-tourism, culture and community-based tourism, and so forth, and we have more. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are also seeking the views of the broader public through an online survey and are inviting written submission. Whether you're a government, industry, an NGO, academia, civil society, a student, or essentially anyone, we want as many views as possible to call it a national framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, these discussions, along with an assessment of the current status of the Fiji's tourism sector, have resulted in several key priorities to be considered by the National Sustainable Tourism Framework and its accompanying 3-year action plan. We want to ascertain where we are now, determine where you want to be, what the challenges are, and where the opportunities lie. Mr. Speaker, sir, based on consultations in the first phase, what came out strongly is that tourism stakeholders collectively desire a future in which tourism A, actively contributes to fulfilling careers and quality employment, B, continues to add value to the local economy, including communities and the vulnerable, C, safeguards and promotes cultural heritage, D, encourages pro-quality investments, E, ensures equitable return returns to indigenous communities and have played its part in reducing carbon emissions and addressing climate and disaster risks. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the future we want for tourism. Looking at data from April to December 2022, visitors to Fiji contributed $2.9 billion to the economy. The average visitor spend was $376 per night, compared to $353 in 2019, and $3,572 per trip, up from $3,379 in 2019. Mr. Speaker, sir, so the demand for Fiji is high, with visitors staying longer, spending and doing more, and we want to build on that. Because of its strong performance, we are now looking at an 8% economic growth this year. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to inform the next phase, which is the development of the framework, we have synthesized the various discussions from phase A into a summary report. This report provides an overview of phase A of the framework's development, including background research and outcomes from the first set of stakeholder consultations. It also captures the emerging priorities of the industry to be reflected in the framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, there are about 11 key topics that are covered, looking at all the discussions we have had on 1, improving the policy and regulatory environments; 2, embedding sustainability across all that we hope to achieve; 3, the visitor economy and its contribution to our national well-being; 4, our different markets; 5, our asset and experience, creating more diverse offerings; 6, having in place measurable tourism standards beyond economic indicators; 7, financing and investment; 8, workforce and skills required; 9, environmental, social and cultural sustainability; 10, enhancing risk management in tourism; and 11, and monitoring and evaluation for sustainable tourism. Mr. Speaker, sir, these are all critical areas that we want to build and add on to. The report has been shared with the government ministries to ensure policy alignment as a basis for further dialogue, because there will be more. Mr. Speaker, sir, I always say, when tourism does well, so does the economy. So this is an important piece of work, and we hope to deliver in the coming months. Over the next 4 weeks, the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation will be conducting broader public and private consultations to inform the framework. Once again, I urge everyone who's listening to contribute to this national strategy. Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you again for this opportunity to deliver my ministerial statement. Thank you.
Thank you. CPM, Tourism.